rolling. I'll call the Capital Planning Committee meeting to order for Thursday, May 13th. It is 7:31 a.m. pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Capital Planning Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information, the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event they were unable to do so, despite best efforts, we'll post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, and we are all here, so I'm just going to keep rolling. First item is approval of meeting minutes from April 26, 2021. I know Joe had circulated those a few weeks ago. Were there any questions for Joe?
Yeah, I sent you a couple minor edits. You're on mute, Joe.
Yep. Yeah, you did. I couldn't access the edited, although I read them back to back, and I only caught one thing, so I may have to get those back from you.
Jeff, were they content in nature or grammatical in nature?
1 moment. Apologies.
Yeah, for some reason I couldn't get the edited function to highlight what you'd done.
Sorry, I'm just pulling it up, guys.
Yep. I know one thing, I put a mix instead of a miss bracket.
Yeah, they were all just grammatical instead of nomination, motion, Joe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they were all nothing substantive. It was all just clean up.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just thought Miss Esposito's name was spelled wrong.
Is it with a ESPE?
ESPISITO. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah.
Say it again. ESP.
OSITO.
OS. Okay.
All right. Anyone else? All right, then I'm going to move we accept the April 26, 2021 meeting minutes with the edits from Jeff and the typo change from Andrew. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, Braccio?
Aye.
Park?
Aye.
Hinterneeder?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Pfaff?
Aye.
And Malinowski is aye. So that's unanimous. Chair's update, I'm just going to do 3A for now. The Space Needs RFQ went public yesterday. Ms. Esposito did get me a final copy. I will distribute it to the committee just so you can see what's out there, mainly so you can start thinking about the scoring for whatever we get back. The key thing to remember is we as committee members cannot distribute it. So just let the process run the course. It's just more of an FYI. Any questions on that? And I will be scheduling a meeting soon for when we'll do the initial pass and then the subsequent interviews. And there, you'll see there's a date next week where there's going to be a public information session where potential vendors will be able to ask questions of the town. So I'll participate in that with at least, I think, Mark and potentially Mr. Parent. I'm going to skip 3B for now because I know Steve intends to not be part of any of that discussion. So I'm going to go right to 4. As I mentioned in the last meeting, I reached out to some of the department heads that have capital, significant capital on the warrant for next week. I did a little Q&A. It was with Mr. Parent and Chief Achilles. So we kind of went at the ones we spent the most time on. So that video has been filmed. We did a little Zoom. It actually worked really well to have them come in and out, answer some questions. And we'll be posting that as a prep for town meeting, just so that we don't have to have a formal presentation. Obviously, there's no venue to make a presentation, but no printouts or anything along those lines. The chief, I know, continues to push though his tender 1-2 page summary, given the newness of that item. And I think it, he said the conversation's been pretty fluid and open with voters, and so that will be out there. The one other thing left over for town meeting that I just wanted to level set on is, I don't know, I can presume some of you that on BOS or advisory, they're definitely going to be there, but I'm not sure who else will be able to be there or is planning to be there next weekend. But to the extent that questions come up on capital, which is primarily in Article 10 and 11, but also obviously down in the townhouse article, which is Article 20. My intent was, if the moderator asked if someone can speak on it, would be to at least answer from capital planning's perspective, and then turn it to a department head if it relates to operational. So if someone asks how the chief's going to use the tender, as an example, just really hope that the chief would take that, versus if there's financial questions, et cetera, like almost try to moderate, whether I think it's Mark or Brian that should help answer because it's a financial question, or the department head, or, why we as residents voted, at least in a majority, in favor of any article that's sitting there on the warrant. Does that make sense? Obviously, if anyone hears the conversation going a direction that they want to clarify anything, as residents, we all have the option to stand up, get in line at the microphone, and push it one way or another, depending upon our views. I guess to the extent that there was minority support, like i.e. you voted against an item, I don't know that there's a minority sort of report in terms of your view, but I think obviously the same goes, right? If someone has something they want to raise of why they didn't vote for it, then I think that should occur as well. Make sense? Any objections to that? Okay. So item 5 is really the reason I wanted to meet today, as opposed to waiting till next week with a light agenda. As everyone remembers, we did a one-stop grant application, which encompassed a number of variety of different projects. One of the projects we put on there, I use the word application loosely. It was really a notice of intent. Like, here are the projects we see, state, help us figure out which program it fits best in. And we submitted something around Corderville Road and actually received a fairly favorable response that we should be considering the MassWorks infrastructure program. There's a grant application due on June 4th related to that. The main reason Corderville, I believe, at least in Mark, tell me if my interpretation is not correct of this, is it's basically shovel ready, right? Like, Karen's done a lot of the engineering, she can get going. She has to obviously, I think, do a few public hearings, but after that, if we were awarded funds, we would be able to get rolling on that. So I'm looking for one committee member to work with Karen, Mark, and whoever else on the team to at least like get a draft out there. Because I don't know that it's fair to Karen, given the height of where we're at, operationally, for her to take this on. But obviously she's got a critical process that she has to run in terms of, she has all the engineering documents. She can tell you where certain things are, but so I don't know if anyone had a strong desire to help or a willingness to help. I'm not going to force anyone to do it, but I wanted to at least open it to this committee, because it's a project we spent a lot of time on last fall. And I got to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised at the initial reaction from the state about a project like that. So, it may be a nothing, but we need to make sure we're giving it our all. So I'll pause there.
I got to meet with her anyway in the next couple of weeks, so if you want me to take care of that, Jason?
And you have time to help, like, actually put some pencil to paper?
Well, I can get it done.
Okay. So,
But I mean, Mark, if you can help me get some time with Karen, which has been the challenge lately, then I can certainly help write it. But I'm gonna need some.
I think the greatest need for Karen is going to be the organizational stuff, Andrew. She's got no problem writing. She's got no problem, putting her thoughts and everything down. It's kind of just taking everything and making sure it's organizational, making sure everything is put together. So
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
and then Andrew, what I would ask for you, if the committee's supportive of you taking on that role, is if you need anything from us that we need to meet on, just let me know and we'll call a meeting. But the committee, my personal opinion is the committee does not need to approve anything. But if you need support from other committee members, we just need to think about how to deal with that with open meeting law. So does anyone have any objections to Andrew helping push this project forward?
No objections.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Many thanks, Andrew. Obviously, just let me know.
Yeah, so I'll say, like, mostly I mean, would it be okay if I do a draft, Jason? Send it to the committee, not for comments, but just basically if there is something that warrants a meeting, having them call, ask for a meeting.
Yeah, what I would do is I'd have Mark or someone from his team send it to us.
Yeah.
And because that'll also allow Mark to collect edits.
Yeah.
As well. But yes, if there's certainly something in there that someone thinks warrants a meeting, then let me know and I can, post with obviously the required notice. I don't think it requires a motion unless anyone thinks otherwise. Okay. The other thing on One Stop is Route 9 did come back. I'll call it less favorably, but it's more, it needs to be better structured. There's just a lot in there. So Mark is coordinating a meeting, which I will participate in, that involves EDC, ShopC, and Board of Selectmen member. Is that the population, Mark? To just see what, if anything, needs to be done there from a capital perspective. It looks more of a planning as opposed to an infrastructure at this point, which I think makes sense based on where that's at.
Yeah, that's accurate, Jason.
Okay. All right. Is there any other business that anyone wants to conduct before I go back to 3B? All right, so Steve, we are moving on to 3B, which is an update from the other night related to South Union. So.
Okay, great. I will recuse myself now.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. I don't know who has the minutes, but I think obviously just make sure that that's noted. So I think everyone was there, so I don't feel a need to discuss it at length, but I just wanted to give anyone an update to raise anything. I think Lisa, BOS is meeting again next week to make your decision of what you're doing. I think I will be prepared to call a meeting after that if there is anything capital needs to weigh in on before town meeting. But my view was, continue to advance the conversations with Sarah and Tim as department heads that use that building, just so we have a plan, whether it be now or in the future, and just kind of wait for direction on where Board of Selectmen is going. I don't know if anyone had any other thoughts.
On the proposal altogether.
Well, I was just anything that capital in particular should be doing. Obviously, on the proposal itself, we all will have a vote at town meeting if the BOS brings it forward.
The more and more I look at the project, the more and more I see what's going in the new American Relief Plan or whatever, it's rescue plan, which specifically spells out affordable housing development as a funding source for that. The more and more I think it might be worth holding on to it, looking at that zoning that we need for mass works grants. If we don't get that zoning thing figured out in the next, not this year, but in the next coming years, we'll lose the ability to do mass works grants. And I think if we can maybe zone that parcel as that multi unit housing that they need for the commuter communities, and maybe put an affordable housing component there, then I think that might be a better use of the money with the surplus we have for CPC funds or CPA funds, and the money from American Rescue Plan that can be used for affordable housing development. I think that might be a better use, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think, Andrew, I share a lot of those same thoughts, to be honest with you. I mean, the American Rescue Plan, that detailed 8-page, layman's terms of what you can use the money for, came out the morning of the BOS meeting. So I can't imagine any of them had digested some of that. But I think, Lisa, you obviously are hearing at least two people's thoughts of potential thoughts around this. But obviously, I know your board had a wide range of thoughts the other night as well.
Just we weren't allowed to talk about it in advisory. So
Yeah.
This opportunity.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else?
I was a little concerned listening to the conversation in terms of going forward with it in the context of all the other conversations we've been having about reshuffling the town, and that timing, this just was a little off, and it would be nice if we could move it out.
Okay. All right, Lisa, you got your notes? Anyone else?
No.
All right, so I will be in touch on meeting schedule. I don't anticipate a meeting before town meeting unless something comes out of the BOS discussion related to South Union, which we're gonna have like one day, pretty much, which would be next Friday, would be our only, based on open meeting law posting, et cetera. But again, Lisa, I mean, we'll just kind of wait for your board's actions and go from there. And then we'll move into the RFQ process after town meeting, and finalizing Joe's input form, which Joe, I got some inside knowledge from the department heads that they really appreciated you reaching out. So I just wanted to pass that along as well, because I think they appreciated the collaborative process.
Oh, Mark, could you just send me whatever the one-stop people sent as advice, just so I can start with that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
All right, any other business? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Braccio,
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Palmer,
Hi.
Bath.
Aye.
And Malinowski's aye. Have a good day, everyone.